tell us what this has been like for you.
My expectations for Rio have definitely been exceeded. They have done a really good job of making all of our needs taken care of, and they've really done a good job of just making everything really easy for us and accessible as far as training and weight cutting and even recovery. They've just done a great job of making everything really accessible, and it's been a great experience, especially as a younger person, because it's been exciting to see the things that athletes over the years have just really gotten to do, and it's a great experience for anyone.
And 53 kilograms, we've got the reigning world champion, 3-time world medalist, Helen Maroulis. Helen, since when you won the world title last year, could you tell us how that victory helped prepare you for the challenge now that you're here at the Olympics?
Definitely. I think anytime you win a world championship, obviously it's going to give you a boost of confidence. So, I've been wrestling for 17 years, and from quad to quad, you kind of make this 4-year plan. So, to win the world championships the year before was a good indicator for me that I'm doing the right things, I have the right coaches, I have the right preparations, but at the same time, I just remember listening to that national anthem and envisioning that that was going to be what I'm hearing here in Rio. So it's a good motivator, but again, the work's not done just because you win a world championship, so that really pushed me to just continue doing all those same things and keep pushing for my dream.
Thank you, Helen. Next up is our 63-kilogram Elena Pirozhkova. Elena, could you talk a little bit about the changes in your life since you wrestled in the London Games, not only in what's going on off the mat, but also in how you wrestle since you were at the last Olympics?
So it's my second Olympics. When I wrestled in London, I really wasn't happy with my performance just because I was expected to place a lot better than I did, and I lost my first match. So I had to take a hard look at myself and my training and everything I was doing. So I really had to be open to a lot of different changes. I got a new strength coach, got a new technical coach. I moved to California, did all these things, and it really, I think my performance has shown all those changes paying off from the way I wrestle, the way I feel. I'm a lot more relaxed. I enjoy wrestling so much more this quad than I did the last, and just my speed on the mat and everything. I'm just having a lot more fun with it.
Explain a little bit about the hair color, because they asked you that at the trials.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of a new deal too, right?
Yeah, so the reason I colored it was because just my whole theme for this quad was just have fun, just be more relaxed. So I said this time I'm a little bit more sassy, and this time I'm letting it show, so that's the purple in my hair.
Thanks a lot, Elena. And to my right here is Adeline Gray. Adeline, you have 3 world titles and you've won 2 in a row. In your mind, what will it take for you to be able to stay on top and win the Olympic gold medal that you have worked so hard for?
So for me, my past 3 kind of years have been very successful at this weight class, and I'm just looking to continue that role. I really haven't changed anything, keeping everything pretty regimented and the same of what I've been doing the last 2 years, and all the way down to my training partner wearing the exact same outfit she's worn for warm-up. So it's gonna be a good day, and all I gotta do is show up one more day to show I'm the best girl in the world.
You were quite excited when you won the Olympic trials, and now that you've been on the Olympic team and going through the training process, just talk a little bit about what the experience has been like for you.
For me, my dream is to make an Olympic team, and I think people often overshadow that, and I just have kind of been listening to some of the media and the rhetoric that's been happening with the men's gymnastics team, and I just think people forget sometimes that just being here is an honor, and representing my country is an honor, and so to be on this team is such a blessing, and there's so many people who would love to be in my place, and it's a really awesome thing. And so I'm already living my dream, and yes, I have another goal of winning a gold medal, but being here right now and getting to show little girls that they can be a professional athlete at an Olympic stage is what I'm here for, and that's what I've been striving for a long time. And so my joy that I had when I made that Olympic team, that had been my goal for a long time. And you could see it in my family's face, you could see it in my face. We made so many sacrifices just to get to this point right here. And so the next goal of stepping onto that mat next week is where we are, and I'm looking forward to that next step.
And just one quick question for our team leader, Kyra Barry. You spent 4 years with this group of athletes getting ready for World and Olympic Championships. Just what's your perspective in regards to how this team is developed?
I'm really excited about this team. I think they are all very, very strong women, very different and independent in their approach to wrestling, and I think you heard a little bit from their comments today, but I think they're very well prepared. They've got a great leader in their coach, Terry Steiner. They've each individually gone out and figured out what's going to work best, not only to get them here to this Olympic stage, but next week when they get on the mat. I think they're really primed and ready to go out there and really give it their all and do their best, and I think they're going to see great results because of that preparation and where they are emotionally and physically. They're ready.
And Coach Steiner, could you talk about our prospects as a team and how the preparation has gone? I know we have 3 of our 4 athletes have been world champions coming in, which is quite impressive.
Well, I think that's where you have to start with. I mean, we have a team of proven performers. When the lights are the brightest, these athletes shine the most, and they've shown that year in, year out. We have a very veteran team. I mean, and some would say that Haley's new to the team and this and that. Every one of these people know how to win at the highest level, and that's what I look at, is we have people that have been with this program for a long time, and they've put in a lot of years. We're talking 2 and 3 quads where they've put their time in and paid their dues, and it's just, I think it's our time and their time to shine as individuals.
At this point, I'll open up to questions. We're going to go another 8-9 minutes on questions and bring our men athletes out, and we'll do one-on-ones after the men speak. So is the protocol to raise your hand and identify yourself? And we have a microphone right over here, right? So.
Hi, Rachel Bachman from the Wall Street Journal. I'm wondering, since the last Olympics, Ronda Rousey has become globally famous in a way that probably no other woman in any combat sport has. I wonder if her fame, and to some extent the fame of a few other women in UFC, has changed how you're received by fans or just on social media or people you meet. Has it changed sort of the stature of women's wrestling as well?
I know that there is a lot of kind of buzz, and the question is always like, oh, are you going to go into MMA next? And so I think we all kind of get those questions pretty repeatedly. But as far as how people are perceiving kind of women in combat sports, I think the whole world is changing. I think there's a kind of a beauty standard that's going, healthy is now strong, not just skinny. And so that whole movement right now, not just, I think Ronda was a huge part of it. I think the MMA kind of embracing the combat sport has been very progressive in the standpoint of allowing women to be a more muscular build and kind of have that hard work show and have it be appreciated. And so I think that's one of the things that I've noticed, is that people don't really look at me like, oh, you look buff. They're like, yeah, you look great, you look healthy, you look strong. And those things have started to be okay to be an attribute along to being feminine. So I think that's one of the best things that has come from that movement.
Anyone else?
Oh, I was just going to say, I agree with Adeline, and I think the really cool thing about Ronda Rousey is that she actually did start as an Olympian. She was a 2-time Olympian, and she did judo, so I think she was always tough. I think she was always accomplished and was very, a very strong woman. I think MMA just provided a platform for the masses to see that. And so I think what we're trying to accomplish with wrestling, and I know a lot of other combat sports, is just for people to see that, you can wrestle, you can, go to university, have scholarships, you can still be feminine if you want, you can be strong, you can really own and be proud of your body. And Ronda Rousey's done a great job of advocating for that. And I think in all the Olympic combat sports, all the women do that. So it's been really great that MMA has definitely put a light to that, and I hope that they'll continue to do that with Olympic sports as well.
Anyone else? Right over here.
I'm Nigel Robertson with Hearst Television, and for Helen and Elena for WCBB in Boston, WBAL in Baltimore. Tell me how your communities, your hometowns, have helped you get to where you are right now, and obviously this will air for them to hear.
My community back home has been a big help, just not only for me, but also for my family. This is my second Olympics, so the first Olympics in London, we fundraised money for my whole family to go to London, and I come from a family of 9 kids, so to fundraise for everybody to get there was kind of a big deal, and it was really, it really spoke for my small town, Greenfield, Massachusetts. It's only like 20,000 people, but the whole town really came together and really helped us out, and people just growing up in the area, it's really not known for wrestling, and our wrestling team wasn't really strong, but just over the years, I had probably some of the greatest support. People would drive I would tell people I can't go to practice. Somebody would drive an hour just to pick me up, bring me to practice, and drive an hour, drive me back. And so you remember little things like that where maybe if it wasn't for those people, I wouldn't be where I am now, because I'm like, oh, I can't do that, but people just went out of the way to really help me. And over all the years, it really led me to live at the Olympic Training Center and be here where I am now in Rio.
Yeah, same thing. Community is everything. I don't think you can get to this stage. I wouldn't be sitting here if it weren't for the support of so many in my community, especially being a female in a male-dominated sport. I mean, I'm from Maryland. There isn't sanctioned women's wrestling in Maryland, so I grew up wrestling the boys, and that's already hard enough as it is to get that support and get that respect. And so those coaches and those individuals and those training partners that, before I was anything, before I ever won a match, were just willing to work with me and believe in me, that's so incredibly helpful. And obviously that propelled me to have the career that I've had. So, and now to just kind of look back full circle and see that women's wrestling is growing in Maryland, and there's more and more girls entering at the high school level. It's just incredible, and I know the whole community supports me. They're behind me. I'm always training. I went with Elena to California, so I barely ever go home, but just through social media and everything, I'm constantly receiving tons of support and encouragement from them. So it's really great to have community.
I would just like to add in on that. I think that, as we always say, it takes a village to raise a child, and it's no different with these athletes up here. I mean, where they started were from their homes, their parents, the messages they were receiving there, the messages they were receiving from their teachers and their first coaches. Those people are so important in an athlete's lives, because they're the ones that feel the passion, and feel that forever. So, and as they get into high school and college and beyond, we're dealing with what was started, and it's very hard to develop something if you don't have that backbone, and that comes from the home. And so those hometown communities are so important. Those first coaches, those grassroots level people that are working with those young kids, they have to understand how important their jobs are, because they're putting people in front of you right here.
Question here.
Hi there, my name is Jamie Linda and I'm representing Cronkite News. And going off of their questions, all of you are a part of the 292 women that are competing in the Olympics, and that's the most for any nation ever. So I was just wondering if you could kind of tell me how that feels, and then also how you would attribute Title IX to some of your success, or other hometown, other policies that you think could further prevent sex discrimination and where we're going as a nation.
So I actually was told that I wasn't allowed to wrestle on my middle school team, and we kind of had to use Title IX in that aspect, and then I was allowed to be on the team. And so it just kind of shows you that there still are barriers out there for women entering combat sports. And it's kind of crazy to me that I am now an Olympian and went from being told I couldn't even do this sport at one point. So with that kind of transition, Title IX has definitely helped me. I don't think a lot of us would be here without that, and it gets a bad rap in our sport because a lot of programs kind of attributed it to being cut, and it's unfortunate that that's how the rule was interpreted. We have no kind of qualms against having more men's programs. We just want to add more women's programs as our goal, and just to provide those opportunities for women to get their education and to allow us to be able to pursue our dreams just as much as the boys are allowed to. And to speak on behalf of the women here representing the United States and kind of having more of us qualified for the Olympics, it comes down to us qualifying. There probably are more men who tried out for this Olympic team, but because the world is so dominant, it just shows how dominant the Team USA women are on the international stage, and especially the combat women. We've done a great job, from the fencers to taekwondo, judo, boxing. We took some great pictures at the opening games of just the combat women, and it was really inspiring to stand next to strong, powerful women who go out there and know how to defend themselves and know how to really bring it to that next level of competition. And I appreciate being a part of that, and I appreciate that the United States is so supportive of us kind of breaking down some of those barriers that women are allowed to be goal-oriented and strong and powerful and beautiful all at the same time.
Take one more question for this group before we bring the men out. Anybody?
I just have a really quick question. By show of hands, how many of you actually wrestled on a girls wrestling team in high school, as opposed to wrestling against boys? Anyone? Okay.
Well,
So you all wrestled on
we got
boys teams.
college though, right? How many went to a college women's team? Yeah, 2 out of our 4 women wrestled college, all women's teams, and 2 did not.